Hello everyone, my name is Adela Watson. I'm a student at Suffolk County Community College, and my research topic is the poliomyelitis crisis in the Eastern Hemisphere and the experiment on the oral polio vaccine. So my initial questions for research were, number one, why is the polio vaccine development more challenging than other disease vaccines? Number two, what sets the oral polio vaccine, that's the OPV, apart from using the inactivated polio vaccine, that's the IPV? Number three, how is the vaccine effective against the three types of polio? Number four, why is it important to use the OPV against poliomyelitis? And number five, what are the payoffs towards eradicating polio? What are the funds going to this vaccine research? To start, polio is a life-threatening disease which can result in permanent paralysis or early death. Polio affects children from an early age, as early as infancy, and the cause of the paralysis is from attacks on the nerves in the brain and in the spinal cord. Polio exists in three types: wild poliovirus 1, that's WPV1, wild poliovirus 2, that's WPV2, and wild poliovirus 3, that's WPV3. On the right is a transmission electron micrograph of the poliovirus under a microscope as well. Two versions of the vaccine are used, the inactivated polio vaccine and the oral polio vaccine. Countries that are currently endemic are Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan, which are the focus of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, that's the GPEI, and Rotary International. They are leading organizations in the End to Polio campaign, which have been working in the past 3 decades in collaboration with the CDC, World Health Organization, and United Nations Children's Fund. So the polio experimental timeline has been a pretty long one. The IPV was first developed by Jonas Salk in 1955. The IPV was a breakthrough in controlling the disease, in which it contains the dead polio bacteria. That's why it's called inactivated. As opposed to the oral vaccine contains the live virus. The IPV is given as an injection in the arm or leg and can only be administered by a healthcare professional. The trivalent oral polio vaccine, that's the TOPV, contains all 3 types of polio. It was developed by Albert Bruce Sabin in the 1960s. He grew the virus in non-nerve tissue cultures, and he discovered 3 mutant strains of the virus, which did not cause paralysis but caused production of antibodies. He also developed the monovalent oral polio vaccine, that's the MOPV, which contains either of the 3 serotypes of the virus, either type 1, type 2, or type 3. The GPEI, which started in 1988, and Rotary International, was started in 1985, were the first to utilize the TOPV on a very large scale. However, due to excessive production of the vaccine, what happened was emerging cases of circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus type 2 started to occur, which is a mutant strain of poliovirus type 2. In response to that, a bivalent oral polio vaccine was developed, which contains type 1 and type 3. That's why it's bivalent. It only contains these 2 types of the virus. As a backup, the GPEI has been developing the novel oral polio vaccine type 2. This is only to be used in an emergency situation, like an outbreak of the CVDPV type 2. It is unique in that it contains the live virus with a low chance of mutation, which could result in paralysis if it does mutate. So that's the good thing about it, is that it has a low chance of mutation, and it grants equal protection from circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus. A synchronized switch from the TOPV to the BOPV is underway by early 2016 in post-endemic countries and currently endemic countries. That's Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. In response to this, Nigeria developed what is known as booster immunization, where infants born after the switch plan receive 1 dosage of the IPV and 1 dosage of the TOPV. So the TOPV, which granted protection from all 3 strains of the virus, was given with one dosage of the IPV, which granted separate protection of wild poliovirus type 2. The chart at the top is a world map displaying the number of countries worldwide which were affected by the poliovirus before the international campaign. So you can see that the majority of the world on the left here is affected by polio. In fact, 125 countries collectively were affected by polio before the campaign. Now that has gone down by 99%, leaving Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan. On the bottom is a graph demonstrating the number of polio cases in Africa in response to higher vaccine coverage over a 30-year period. That's on the bottom. So you can see the number of cases goes up to 70,000 and vaccine coverage up to 100%. You can see that with 90% of vaccine coverage, cases have been down to almost zero. I want to point out that this only goes up to 70,000 because, like I said, it only focuses on Africa. However, at the start of the campaign, 350,000 children a year were affected worldwide with polio, and up to 1,000 children a day were paralyzed. The chart at the top is a display of polio type 1 cases for each of the currently endemic countries in recent years. That's Pakistan, Nigeria, and Afghanistan. You'll notice that Pakistan accounts for the majority of cases that were detected, and that is due to a growing resistance in the vaccine. Recently, there has been a political ban on the vaccine, and there has been growing parental resistance to the vaccine. In their culture, parents tend to resist the vaccine due to suspicions of what is actually made in the vaccine. So they're a little bit skeptical that components in it are considered to be haram, and they don't want that to be given to their children. And the chart at the bottom is a closer look at what cases are wild poliovirus and what cases are circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus. So, use of the OPV resulted in circulating vaccine-derived poliovirus, most commonly the type 2. In fact, it accounted for greater than 94% of the cases detected between the years of 2006 and 2016. As I said, Pakistan obviously has the larger number of cases. You can see it makes up for pretty much the greater number of cases in every time period listed, 2014 and 2015. In conclusion, the path to combat this disease has been an arduous one. Funds donated to support the campaign and support necessary vaccine coverage has made the end to polio globally within the near future. As I said, it's gone down by 99%, so the spread of polio is successful in that type 2 has been eradicated since 1999, and type 3 since October 2019. In fact, the GPEI has contributed $9 billion in funds to eradicate polio, which generated a net profit of $27 billion. Rotary International has contributed a separate $1.8 billion. An estimated $40 to $50 billion is to be saved should the eradication effort continue until the year 2030. Like I said, the virus tends to mutate. There's 4 versions of the oral polio vaccine that are used. And the challenge to eradicate polio demands continuous funding, experimenting, and surveillance. However, persistence of committed organizations can make eradication attainable. Lastly, I'd like to thank immensely my teacher, Dr. Sambasivan, for offering her guidance and suggestions on how to conduct proper research. I wouldn't have been able to do any of this without her, and she has certainly made my learning experience a positive one, so I thank her for that. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and I hope you have a great day.